Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying with us. I am Natalie Sealy-Richardson, and you are viewing Tobago Updates as we count down to General Elections 2025. And you are viewing this week's series created just for you to keep you abreast and to allow you to meet some of the candidates. Fight for West and East, fight for we. And this morning, sitting next to me is Mr. Curtis Douglas. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Miss Natalie. Good morning.
It's good to have you in studio this morning. And just for our viewers, we take a lot for granted because you may be a public person. Everybody knows who you are. But we are getting to know you, in a different light as well as you on the campaign trail. And you have offered yourself to be a candidate for Tobago West. Let me start by asking, in case our viewers may not know who you are, very briefly, who is Mr. Curtis Douglas?
Well, Mr. Curtis Douglas is a Tobago-born gentleman.
Yes.
I born and I grew up in Plymouth. And I went at Plymouth Anglican School where I was an athlete in 100-meter sprint, playing football, playing for the national team in Trinidad and Tobago, traveled to Puerto Rico, Mexico, all of these places representing Trinidad and Tobago at a national level. And I also went to the School of Institute of Education.
Right.
And I also spent some of my time working in health. And also, I am a fisherman. And I also spent over 10 years in England, further some studies in the health sector as well, and also in the marine sector. Mm-hmm. So that in a nutcase is basically who Curtis Douglas is, and also hoping to be the next representative minister for Tobago West.
All right. And tell me, you have publicly aligned yourself with the PDP. Why that political party?
That political party is, the first and only true Tobago-based party, meaning that party does not align itself with any other party in Trinidad, because for years after I checked the landscape and was guided by Mr. Ocho Charles' advisors up in the ranks, and I would have paid attention to the dynamics of how things are being done. And what this party demonstrates is that this party is based on Tobago, for Tobago, by Tobago. So any decision have to be made by Tobagonian, for Tobagonian. Because for the last couple of years, what we were seeing is political parties outside of Tobago and not necessarily Tobago-based. We are more like, the rest of parties are more like friends or connected to Trinidad. This is a Tobago-based, Tobago-from party, and it's also Tobago-driven. So being a Tobago person, I believe and I know this party is a party of truth, and there is no other party to represent or I should associate or align myself with more than this Tobago-based party.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think so many persons, especially when you talk about a Tobago party, what is the fear of having a Tobago party be aligned with another entity?
It's not a fear, it's about wisdom. So in case to those who don't understand, we've been aligning ourselves with Trinidad parties for the last 30 odd years, and Tobago hasn't benefited anything significant. So we must pay attention to how and who to align yourself with. I'm not saying alignment is bad, but they must understand the whole demographic of alignment. Tobago has been selling their rights to Trinidad for years, but as being a sole Tobago party, we must be able to stand independently. We can't talk independent and looking to be alignment with people. Tobago people must speak, and Tobago people must speak independently. Tobago people must not be influenced by outside entity about how they should structure and how they should build and curve their future, more so the lives of our children. So that is why it is important. I'm not condemning, but those who have the vision would be able to see, and those who cannot see far will not see. So I'm just here to open the eyes and open the ears. Mm-hmm. Tobago-based party must be able to be run and to be advised and driven by Tobagonian, because what they did not understand, and they didn't understand clearly, when the history would have shown, when they have a voting in the parliament, right, is the boss instruct them to vote. But when you have a Tobago-based party with 2 Tobago representatives, any voting, if we do not vote on it, any bill should be passed. That bill will not be a Trinidad and Tobago bill.
Right.
That will just be a Trinidad bill. Right. Until we vote on that bill, then it will be a Trinidad and Tobago bill. Mind you, I just want to draw an example about that same incident. We would have aligned ourselves for the last 10 years with a political party in Trinidad. And they would have passed a bill in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, making it so that fishermen cannot carry gasoline in the back of the vehicle. Mind you, there is no jetty, there is no gas pump station on any jetty, but they make it that unlawful. But when that was done, there was no one to stand up to represent Tobago. And this is what we are talking about, the alignment. They just only vote yes to that, not taking into consideration, not having a voice, because they sold their voice to the leaders in Trinidad. So I'm saying, if we had the opportunity, that bill wouldn't have passed with our vote. Would not, because we know Tobago do not have the facilities. The first thing before you do what we should have done as a government is to ensure that Tobago have the facilities. And when that facility is in place, then you can vote. And that is all about the alignment process.
Right. And I hear you, given that example with the bill, it would not have been supported by Tobago. Correct. But would it not have been passed still, even without Tobago?
No, there is no, I want to explain to you, a lot of people do not understand how the process works.
Right.
There is no Tobago alone. And there is no Trinidad alone.
Right.
There is only Trinidad and Tobago. These 2 seats represent Tobago.
Right.
And those other seats represent Trinidad. And if we do not vote on it, that is not a Trinidad and Tobago bill. That is only a Trinidad bill.
But it still becomes law.
It cannot become law for Tobago, because it is a Trinidad bill, because we 2 seats represent who we are and speak for the people in Tobago.
Right.
But if the people in Tobago does not speak on that particular issue, they need to have it reviewed and go back, because Tobago had not. Because, okay.
And I understand where you're going with it, because that will be the ultimate goal, and then we can have a conversation about why, in whatever form you may call it, whether it's autonomy, etc. But in terms of, even if you, as a member of parliament, you came up, you had your white paper, whatever, green paper as they call it, you go through the whole process, you're presenting, and this bill needs to be passed, right? Or it's presented and has to go to the different, levels, whether it's the Senate, the Parliament, etc., to get it, following due process. And as you say, so let's say it doesn't get the vote by the others.
Let me explain something to you, and I want to explain to the people of Tobago, and to all all our followers and listeners.
Right.
Once you run for election, national election, especially, I'm speaking directly with the 2 seats in Tobago.
Right.
Your sole interest is no longer any political party. Be clear.
Right.
It have nothing to do anymore with political party. Your sole interest and concern is to represent the people of Tobago.
Should be.
And if you do not partake in that, Tobago has no representation. It's as simple as that. But you see what happened? The way the people had been programmed over the years, they did not take time to understand the mechanism in which creates the ability for the machinery to operate. For example, I want to draw this example.
Sure.
Mr. Chavez, PDP win election in the THA. Mr. Chavez got in under the PDP banner. And he say he's independent. You understand? He is independent. Now, that in itself is wrong. Because when I go up under this banner, I go up to represent the party and also the people. Right? So when I vote in Trinidad, I'm voting because Tobago must benefit from everything that the parliaments bring. And if Tobago is not benefiting, then Tobago have a voice.
And how do you see your role as member of parliament? Through your eyes, you're campaigning, you want the people to vote for you. What's your definition of the role of a member of parliament?
A member of parliament is what I would have just said to you. A member of parliament, Tobago, my main concern is to represent Tobago.
Right.
So you will find under the PDP, right, who is the train machine that take me to the parliament.
Right.
I will now have to put people before politics. And my main concern is to ensure that I represent Tobago at the highest level. And Tobago people vote for me to have a voice, because when I campaign for Tobago to get 10% of the national budget allocation. I campaign so that people, Tobagonians, can finally get their deeds and wills done and all legal business done in Tobago. The vote, I campaign so that CARICOM boat could stop off in Tobago.
Right.
So these are the things. So my duty is to follow the instructions of the people of Tobago and deliver the instructions and carry out instructions for the people of Tobago. And then when politics time come around again, we can talk politics.
Right.
But when I'm there as a minister, which I'll be the minister for Tobago West,
Member of Parliament,
I am there to represent the people of Tobago. Straight.
Going into this general elections, and all candidates are going in because you want to win, you want to represent. Let's say you are not successful at the polls on Monday, the 28th of April. What's next for Mr. Douglas?
Well, unfortunately, I do not have that in my dictionary, not being successful, because I believe I'm blessed by God, and I'm not here just by accident or at this time because I was supposed to come on the show earlier. But good Lord have directed me to be here this evening. So I don't speak anything that negative, because my future will always be bright and Tobago future must always be bright.
Right.
So I'm saying I don't know that word, not winning.
Okay, so let me ask it a different way. If the electorate does not select you to be their member of parliament, what's next for you?
Well, the electorate is the people. And so far, the people are saying they're going to support the PDP, Curtis Douglas and the PDP. But in going forward, I am still the president of all Tobago Fisherfolk.
Right.
And I have a track record of continuing to fight for the people of Tobago.
Right.
So quite clearly, I have Tobago as heart. Because when you live abroad for a very long time, you understand and you're very passionate of where you come from. And then you learn to love where you come from even more. And I was not willing to have all this knowledge and stay in Europe. I came back home so I can share, so that my people can advance and I can pass on that knowledge. Because quite frankly, what I'm saying, a lot of people go abroad and they do not come back home, and when they grow, they don't bring back that knowledge. So I'm saying I am here to also share with my brothers and sisters in Tobago.
Right. And how has been your experience on the campaign trail thus far?
Well, my campaign trail experience is about mixture between sweet and sour. Because when I walk some of the road, I can't believe that the level of poverty and unemployment in Tobago is that high.
Right.
I'm still seeing people using out toilet, better known as latrine. And I'm still seeing people don't have running water in the home. I'm still seeing people who are disabled that are being forgotten. So I'm still seeing people that are crying for basic necessities, and knowing the fact of all those 40-foot pipeline that pumping the gas as we speak straight to Trinidad and making billions of US dollars. I can't believe we are here in Tobago undergoing these little meager things. I am totally disturbed and I'm hurt because these are my brothers and these are my sisters.
Right.
So the campaign trail would have told me Tobago need leadership. and Tobago needs someone to represent the people. And there's no other person or other two person or any other party more than the PDP, which is a Tobago-founded, Tobago-based, Tobago-led, Tobago-driven party to take Tobago to the next level.
Right.
And that's a level of freedom and independence for Tobagonians.
Right. And of course, we have to bring our time to an end, Mr. Douglas, but I do appreciate you spending time with us, chatting with me, allowing the viewers to hear some of your concerns, your ideas. And I would allow you this time just to talk to the viewers. Someone is listening and they haven't made up their mind as yet. They are still open, listening to what candidates are presenting. So I would allow you to speak to that individual and explain why you are the choice for Tobago West.
Well, basically, I didn't started my campaigning 2 years or 3 years ago. If you Google me, you'll see I've been fighting and advocating for the people,
right,
even in the oil spill. And I'm the individual, I don't like to blow my horn, that makes sure that Tobago and the people in the oil spill get $50 million come to ensure to pay the people of Tobago, even though that was not done. All up to now still. Mr. Chavez and his team still owing me and owing ACFA, the fisher folk, a lot of money. But we are not here to talk about that.
Right.
I am here to tell you, I am the fit person, and I'm going up with the true Tobago party that is founded by Tobago. And for the first time, you all have a Tobagonian that is not associated, not affiliated, or influenced by any outside person or any outside influence. We must be able as Tobagonian to stand independently, and we must also demonstrate that Tobago people are intelligent and we are brilliant in whatever we do, because history would have shown we would have produced, if not some of the most and the brilliantest prime ministers in Trinidad and Tobago. And given a chance, I will show the people of Tobago what representation is and what a minister of Tobago or member of parliament for Tobago West would demonstrate how to get things done for Tobago by not selling out Tobago. I don't have to go down there to sell out Tobago, because I have a child here, I have grandchildren, and I know the decision I make in that parliament determine the future, not only my children, but your children. So give me the opportunity to correct the wrong that was made over the years in parliament, and I will show you how and why they didn't tell us the full truth about how Tobago is important. Because I want to tell you all a little story, very short, is a message. Tobago is the richest, smallest of the island in the Caribbean. Tobago is supposed to be the envy of the Caribbean. Tobago have natural gas worth over $360 billion. But what have we benefit from it? Nothing. Give me the chance to ensure that we in Tobago have the right set of budgetary allocation so we could have our own university, we could educate and build a better Tobago, but we must do it together.
Thank you so much, Mr. Douglas. And viewers, thank you for staying with us. We're not done as yet as we continue to fight for West and East. Yes, it's your opportunity to hear from these candidates. And I know many of you are trying to follow up. You are still making up your mind, some of you. And this is the place to be, Tobago Updates Television. We go for a quick break, and when we return, we meet the other representative for Tobago. It will be for Tobago East, representing the PDP. So we meet Mr. Douglas' counterpart. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.